It's a crossover between the Mo Show and Discussions. For anyone wanting to pursue a career in podcasting, in media, we brought you some experts.
The moment that I'm not honest, I'm gonna walk off set.
If your brain created that dream, what's to say you can't do it? It wouldn't have created it if it's not possible.
I can't believe I told you about this 2 years ago.
Is that awkward? I've
never been public about it. How badly do you want it? It took 30 episodes to attract the attention of the first sponsor. I was out of pocket still then. You got the president and chief investment officer at Google.
That's huge.
In my mind, I'm like, yeah, 170 episodes did.
Yeah, so I micromanage. I will say that, and that's what takes.
Join the club.
Join the club. Mo is like, I'm the president.
And embarrassment is the cost of entry.
Ooh, I like that. I heard that before.
Epic.
I like that. It's so true.
Your first version is going to be beep.
Yeah, it's gonna.
And
not you beeping yourself. It's
and
crazy. Save me editing time.
trying to help you with that.
I don't think people are buying the podcast. I think they're buying you. I've always said branding is everything, and they're buying you as a product.
I'm 42. Yeah.
42?
I died this shit. Let's make some impact.
That's funny. I like that. Cheesy. Look at that. Nice.
I was waiting for it. I should have started.
Dang.
You're like, I heard that one before.
What's going on here? Welcome back to another episode of Discussions, and a very special thank you to Al-Mashdad for helping make this episode possible. This episode is a little bit different. It's a crossover between the Mo Show and Discussions. As you know, our mission in Discussions is to make information accessible for anyone wanting to pursue a career in podcasting, in media. We brought you some experts, specifically Mo Show, who's been doing this 5.5 years. Without further ado, let's begin. Mo, welcome to Discussions.
Thank you for having me, Lemo. Proud of what you've put together. And as I said before we started, everyone starts at the right time and the right place, but you should have started this a long time ago. This is you.
I agree. It's been a dream. Thank you. It's happening. It's happening earlier this year. So alhamdulillah.
Bravo.
Okay. So in order to do the interview, it's going to be a little bit different. We asked the audience what they want to know, and we received a flood of questions, over 58 questions in just one night. So we narrowed it down to 13 questions from you all about podcasting, anything you want to know about getting started in the career, the budget that you need, how to get the right guests. This is the episode for you. So, Mo,
I like this format.
Right? It's fun. It's
engaging the audience.
I don't think it's been done before as well.
No, you're giving me ideas.
Take them. We'll collaborate. It's a crossover. So what we'll do is we have the questions in front of us. We'll pick a question at random, and then we'll ask each other that question. Obviously, we bring different perspectives. You know, Mo, you've been doing this 5.5 years, going on 6 years of podcasting. Me, I come from more of a written journalistic background, and then newly podcasting this year. So I think it'll be a nice episode.
It will.
The first question. Mo, I'm going to ask you this question, and then it will backfire, bring it back to me. What is the most challenging aspect of your daily work in media? The most challenging part of podcasting, would you say? And you don't have to be overly positive, just be honest, because it's not glamorous. We spoke about this.
Listen, the moment that I'm not honest, I'm gonna walk off set.
Yeah.
Honesty above everything. I think the hardest part of it's not choosing the guests. Landing the guests could be tricky for sure, but by virtue of existing, it's been easier to get guests. I think the hardest part is the post-production. Because conversations, alhamdulillah, come naturally to me. So choosing what parts we need to market the episode, we're currently doing that. We did that this morning with a big episode that's coming out in a week. So choosing what we feel the audience will relate to, will be hooked to, while ensuring it's not too clickbaity for the interest of the guests. Maybe the guests don't want to appear, to be too... to have a trailer come out that doesn't align with, how they want themselves to be portrayed. So I think post-production has been the biggest challenge for us in the realm of media.
I have to agree. I think if I were to be asked what's the most challenging aspect of podcasting, it is post-production, because it is so time-consuming. And we talked about this before we got started. I think you said you work with a production company now that handles everything. And also the use of AI for captions and translation. I think even before, when we got started in Discussions early on, the first few episodes, we were doing it manually. All of that, selecting the clips, translation, the captions. So it took so much longer to produce an episode because we wanted it to be perfect. But at the end of the day, we notice the viewers just want the content.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. And like you said, over time, you will have that team, you will have that notoriety that comes and supports what you're doing and makes it easier.
I might be absolutely with on that. I mean, we share similar pain points. The production company that we do work with handles
Pre-production.
Yeah, I might be too much of a micromanager that I'm still involved in post.
Okay. But that's still good, as am I.
So I watch second draft. My head of production watches first, so I get a cleaner second draft. So if something is blatantly out, if I get up and go to the bathroom, I don't see that in the second draft, which means I still watch the whole content and I flag areas that I feel are trailer worthy. That takes a lot of time. I have a wife and 3 kids. So not only am I shooting, but I'm also watching what I shoot. And I think maybe I need to solve for that a little bit and be less of a micromanager, but I'm too hands-on and I love it too much. So where do you draw the line between allowing someone to do it for you versus focusing on the next guest? And I still haven't figured that out.
That's so interesting. I'm looking behind me because we're talking about post-production, and my videographer/editor hates me because it takes forever for me to edit anything.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, what was it like when you first got started? Before you said a production manager. Before you had a production manager, were you doing it all manually, or what was it like?
No, luckily I had an editor that I found in Jeddah from day one, and because I was new to it, both from finding out how much such a thing costs to knowing anything about the industry, I was paying an arm and a leg for the first 10 episodes. And with time, I managed to find someone who can do it at a better cost. But for me to actually, put the camera angles with the audio, luckily I never did that. I know a lot of people started off that way. Maybe I could have been a bit more economical starting off. It took 30 episodes to attract the attention of the first sponsor. I was out of pocket still then, till the 30th episode. But I would watch every millisecond. And if I go, I tell him mute when I clear my throat at minute 27/36. And that would be very time consuming. I don't do that today, but I'm probably doing that to the tune of 50 or 60%.
Okay. So it's not bad.
No.
Okay.
But setting up the cameras and ensuring that everything is, working at an optimum level. I had some humbling beginnings for sure. After episode 1, when we came to edit and we were excited, we found out that my mic was off. And I'm not. And it's actually a story that I hang my hat on a lot because it was a welcome to the industry moment. It was are you going to roll over and die and tell yourself that you tried, or are you going to roll up your sleeves and give it another shot? So I needed that. That was something that was going to help me, persevere and continue. So I called up my best friend. I'm like, listen, my mic was off. Can we shoot again tomorrow? He's like, same time? I said, yeah, same time. And luckily, both mics were on for the second edition. So episode 1 was technically take 2 of episode 1. And then just from then on, I fell in love with the craft, and we produced 169 after that. Alhamdulillah.
It's brilliant. It's your turn. You get to pick a question now. You can pick from the bottom up. They're all mixed, so it's up to you.
I hope it's a hard one for you. Episode mission: to educate and inspire.
Wait, is that the first one? Can I see it?
Yeah, can you see that?
We're gonna keep this in. Oh yeah, no, this is for me. This is for me for fun. Okay. This was our mission statement, how we want to educate the public about what's actually happening in the episode.
Here we go. Okay. What is your biggest fear in life? No, I'm kidding. I'm a bit of a joker.
What is my biggest fear?
Okay.
I think fear itself, to be honest.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what? That's a great answer. It is a great answer. What is your ultimate goal or dream for discussions, and what impact do you hope to achieve through them?
Our end goal, I think it's similar to what you told me. So we met during the Miss Global Forum. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember very well.
I remember we were in the lounge. I don't know what area it was, but it was in the lounge.
Yep, it was a restaurant.
And you were coming in between emceeing some of the sessions, and we spoke very briefly, and you told me about one of your missions. And at that time, discussions was underway. We were buying the equipment, we were setting everything up, but we hadn't launched. And you told me something interesting. I don't know if I should say what your dream was.
Please say it.
But you wanted to have your own show, almost like a night show.
Yeah.
Like the David Letterman kind of, Stephen Colbert kind of show. And I pictured that for you, and I thought you would do so well with that idea. Ours is more of the daytime show, and I could see it. We would be the morning show of
Ooh,
discussions.
the Oprah show.
Exactly.
Nice.
The Good Morning America energy type of show, and yours would be the night show. And I had this vision in mind, and I was like, that's so interesting because this is what we want to do over time. I want to make discussions global. I mean, we don't want to stay within the kingdom. We want to expand globally, and we want to make information accessible for everyone. I had this mission with discussions because I firmly believe if the wall is open for you, even the doorway is open for you between what you want to achieve and where you are now, that wall of information, you can achieve anything. And it's just if you have that knowledge, if you have that network, that baseline information, you can achieve anything. And this is what we wanted to do with discussions. Working as a journalist for over 6 years now, I've had access to amazing people. I've had access to just tremendous amount of information that maybe the normal person wouldn't. And it's allowed me to excel in my career, and I want the same for the viewers. I really just want to bring leading experts from across sectors, have a conversation, we break that barrier so that they can achieve their goals. And this is what we're doing now with podcasting, with media. So we bring you on and we ask all sorts of questions that people want to know in case they want to pursue a career in podcasting and media, because genuinely anyone can be a podcaster. Anyone can. Just make sure you have the right mission. I mean, don't just pick up a mic to pick up a mic.
Too easy to get started, right?
There's and I shouldn't say it, but no, never mind. That's not.
I saw no, we will. I saw an Instagram reel yesterday.
Is it the same one we're talking about?
Yes, the lady that said, I was told if you get married, your husband becomes... It's so good.
No, you have to say it.
Okay, I'll tell you. So I don't know the name of the podcast, but this lady was talking on a podcast. She was like, I was told that if you get married, your husband becomes your immediate family. And then it cuts to a guy going, not the guy who's talking, but the guy like
commentating. I know what you're talking about. There's another one. I shouldn't even say
podcast equipment has become too accessible. Can we remove it from the market and give it back to...
there was one that said you have to take a few tests. You have to have some physical, mental challenges, everything in order to buy a podcast mic. I thought that was so messed up, but it's a little too accessible nowadays. But still, you should. You should. We're not discouraging anyone. Just have the right mission statement.
Yeah. Look, I think over time, quality will continue. And those who are just having fun with it, eventually the traction determines longevity. If people are buying in, with their eyes or their ears to your content, you will remain relevant and you'll keep doing it. But, if you're just doing it for the TikTokification, for those 10 seconds of virality, I think it's very short-lived and there isn't much of a long game in that. So I'm hoping by virtue of that, those who are in it, just for a quick laugh, will eventually not continue, and those that are serious about their craft will. That's how I feel the market will unfold. I can't believe I told you about this 2 years ago.
Is that awkward?
I've never been public about it.
No, it's okay. I just made it public. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you did. You know why? Because now I got to take action.
No, but you do take action, but also I believe...
I take action in this.
I agree. And if you put something out there, by the way, the right supporters, the right viewers, they see it and they pick it up.
Yeah.
We'd be surprised how many of our guests have had opportunities open up just because they're viewers.
For sure.
If you put something out into the universe and it'll come back, and I believe that.
Yeah, but now I got to take action so it doesn't go to someone else.
No one. Doesn't matter. Can I say this, Mo? And I have this mentality. Please. How many coffee shops do we have in Riyadh? In the kingdom as a whole?
I would say 5,000. Kingdom?
In the kingdom, sure. In the kingdom.
25,000.
It's around 30,000.
Oh,
I think so. It could be more now.
We'll fact check it.
It could be more. We can fact check it.
Yeah.
But the fact is that there's still coffee shops that are opening up that are doing so tremendously well because they do it their way. Right? Anyone can have a podcast. Anyone can have a night show. But they still retain the viewers and they still do it well because they do it their way. And I firmly believe that if something's meant for you, it'll come for you. And if you do it the right way and they do it your way, no one can touch that. No one can even come close to that, right? Because they can try to replicate the Mo Show. They can try to replicate discussions. But will they do it like Muhammad Islam?
Yeah, probably not. Just how I can't do it their way.
Exactly. And your viewers, they're loyal viewers and they're coming back to watch you every single time. What's to say they're not going to come back and watch the night show every single night, right? Because they're coming for you. This is what I'm saying. If you do it your way, like we can keep it in the episode. We can remove it. It's fine. If you want to keep your what you want to achieve.
I want to keep it. Yeah,
in the future?
I want to keep it because I think it's important. I mean, the mission is important. Never in my lifetime did I think that, ooh, I could fill in David Letterman's shoes for Saudi Arabia. No way. And I might even argue that it'll take a lot for me to push myself to be that character. I'm not the Joker opening monologue. It's not me. I'm more serious conversations. I will throw in a few jokes in episodes because I think I have a decent sense of humor, much to the disagreement of my wife. But I will push myself for this role because there's such a gap in the market. Okay? We have these A-listers who come from all over the world, and we are at the mercy on whether they repost it on Instagram or not. We want to own the narrative. Since you are here, we want you to sit down. We want you to talk about your experience in Saudi, what you're doing here, promoting your music. And I think I'll even wear a shimagh because if, these clips go on social media, within the first second, anyone seeing it will know that Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt or whoever is in Saudi with promoting his show there or his movie there. And oh my God, I didn't know they have late night talk shows in Saudi Arabia. Without me opening my mouth, you will understand exactly what's happening. So I did a lot of work on it, and
Started working
inshallah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I did. And there's another
Good.
picture I want to show you. Maybe we can take
But
this.
maybe we come back and we have this conversation after maybe less than a year. And it could be happening. You don't know. We never know.
Like just a quick snapshot of it. So you just seeing that, what's cooking. Big gap in the market.
Show the audience. Or maybe we can edit it in, but Riyadh live, right? Live from Riyadh.
Big gap in the market. Anyway.
Because there is opportunity
we need
for it.
And you know what? You know why I'm not afraid of saying it? Well, not because I want to put it out there because honestly, if not me, then anyone. We need this.
But do it right.
More than I care about being the host. Like, we need this.
I agree.
And late night talk shows, I don't believe are dead. There's still a major
There's a market for
essence of humor and untapped. Now, 10 years ago, we wouldn't need this because, we didn't have people coming to Saudi Arabia from the Western or Eastern or Southern world at the rate that we're seeing today. So I think it's the perfect storm for this.
I think we needed it back then and we need it now. I think we talked about this off camera, it's taking control of the narrative, of our own narrative and telling our own stories. The Western world is always they're going to jump at the opportunity to tell it and to be frank, to tell it incorrectly. It's about us taking over the mic and telling our story the right way. And, through pop culture, through the night show, it's an interesting concept.
Now we can. What a refreshing time for the media landscape.
I agree.
Yeah.
My turn.
Go.
It's like far away. Okay. Ooh. Talk about money. What kind of budget is realistic for someone who's just starting out in podcasting?
I think it could be done for less than 30,000 riyals. If you want to go 4K cameras, if you want to go microphones, if you want to go decent lighting, 20 to 30,000 riyals will allow you to operate using equipment for the next 5 years.
And is that what you did? Or did you start? You said you spent a lot.
So the first 3 or 4 episodes, I was in the spirit of starting where you are and with what you have.
Good.
I shot in my corporate cubicle. It was like 2x2. It's quite tight. And I used cameras that I would, take on holiday when I go with my wife. And then after the first episode, I was like, I really enjoyed that, and I think it's me. So at the end of the second episode, when the mic was working, I went on Amazon and I bought mics, and I bought mic stands, and I bought 3 cameras. And from episode 4 onwards, we're still on the same ones.
Well,
how cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So it really, really lasted. And I'd like the production to be on, Chris Williamson's level where it's cinematic. But to be honest, I'm very happy with the quality of where it's at today, and I don't want it to. I don't want. Like, I want the quality of the content to be what's in the foreground, not the bells and whistles. It's nice to have a nice backdrop. It's nice to have filters and all that. But yeah, to go back to the question, 20 to 30,000 riyals, which is about $8,000, should see you for the next 5 years, as it did for me.
Do you think they need that amount, or is it possible to start with kind of an iPhone and a mic? Or...
For sure, I think you can go with one camera.
Okay.
You can even go with the quality of of the cameras on phones today, yeah, you can absolutely go with that as well. I think even when it came to setting up the business, I registered for the VAT. I just made sure I was legal in all aspects. I got a media license before episode 1. Just hedging my bets that, hey, if this ends up being something, I never want to be backdated and violated for something that I didn't do. So I'm very much a law-abiding citizen across all things. But with this, I just never wanted to be flagged or to stop doing this because of a technicality. So not only did I invest from an admin level of the business, but also with the cameras, I wanted something professional because of how much I loved episode 1. And I was like, this isn't just like a summer fling, if you will. No, this is something that maybe if I play my cards right, I could be doing full time. And as of 2.5 years ago, that dream came true, which is that I do this full time.
You weren't doing it full time?
No, I wasn't. For the first 3.5 years, I wasn't doing it full time.
You were still working?
I was very much still working.
I did not know that.
It was a very, very, very tough job.
You were working like full-time government sector or private sector?
No, private sector. I was
Full-time.
working in the family business.
Okay. Oh.
And honestly, the podcast started from some very dark and unhappy days in corporate. Dealing with difficult bosses, family business, and I was like, it was never part of the plan, Lama, to go in front of the camera ever. I'm an extrovert, but there's levels to this, and things as simple as going into the camera saying, "Hey guys, I want to talk to you about." I said even after I started the podcast that I will never do. I've probably done 10 so far, and there's 3 pending that I've been putting off.
No, but you should.
So I never wanted to do this, but it came from how unhappy I was in my corporate job that I said, there's a potential that if this works, how amazing would it be to leave that for this? When I say I was unhappy, I really was unhappy. And I didn't want to go to another company and get to know new people and work with a new team. As funny as that point is, all I do today is meet new people and work with new teams. That's all I do, whether it's with the sponsors, whether it's with the events, whether it's with the team of prospective guests that we're going to work with. I'm meeting new people that I have to build chemistry with and work with to the tune of maybe 2 times a month, which is crazy. So I took the leap and I said, you know what, this could be the way out, and invested in the equipment and stuck with it. The only thing I've ever been consistent with. Only thing. And it paid off.
That's brilliant. SubhanAllah, it's interesting how it worked out. But it's good. Now it's your full-time job.
Yeah.
It's going to grow. It's only going to grow if you keep at it.
I think there's a bit of luck as well.
It is.
And being one of the early people to market.
Sah as well, yeah.
I love the old saying, if they understood what you are building, you're too late. People have to question it. I think when they were building the pyramids, everyone was like, what are you doing? I still don't know what the point of it was, but I know it's the most magnificent thing that personkind has ever built. So there was a lot of, well, what are you doing? And now there's a lot of,
I get it now.
Do you miss your corporate job?
I don't think you.
But do you know why I'm not quick to dismiss it? It formed me. There is no podcast without the dark days there. Yeah. There is. So I have to be grateful for the people that God put into my life. Someone said, life is like being on a train, right? People jump on, people jump off. There'll be good, there will be no good, but the people who are no good will build you more than those who are good, and it's not even a fair comparison.
You learn from them.
You do. You got to be grateful for them. And I remember 2 years, 3 years into this, I was saying that, if I see that guy that made my life miserable, well, I give him a piece of my mind. Today, I actually will give him a hug. Seriously. If he'd accept it, of course, I think he would. But I would absolutely kiss his forehead, like really, not even being passive aggressive. No, I would, because there is no this if it wasn't for you. So I don't know if it was, part of your plan or not, but thank you, because it allowed me to live a happy life where I feel I can contribute to society at a rate I was never able to before.
Yeah. I think it's your question. It's your turn.
I don't talk much on my show, so you got to stop me.
No, you're doing a good job. What are you talking about? If I feel like something's completely off topic, I'll stop you. But this is important because I guarantee you there's people sitting in corporate jobs right now. I know so many consultants that have come up to me, consultants that said, I want to start a podcast. And they're just stuck in this bubble. Khalas, they have their salary, they have their rent. It's a cycle of just toxicity, toxicity, toxicity. And they're not doing what they actually want to do with their lives, right? So the fact that they can hear of someone that did the same thing, got out of the corporate world, and is now doing full-time what they love to do and is inspiring other people, this is the whole mission of discussions. So it's perfect.
I think I can summarize my rant in how badly do you want it? I think you can attain anything you put your mind to, so long as you want it bad enough. If you obsess over it, then the whole energy and universe and manifestation takes care of itself. But if you obsess over it, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. But it's easy to get sucked into the world of doom scrolling and saying, you know what, if it comes, it comes.
I'll start tomorrow.
Like that.
I'll do it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, obsess about it. Am I obsessed about it? What are the first steps someone should take to start a podcast from scratch?
The first step someone should take to start a podcast from, well, it depends on the podcast you want to start, but I would just say, as cliche as it is, just start. Start somewhere and then adjust as you go. If you feel like something is not necessarily working out, whether it's the quality of the camera, the topics, the subjects, the themes, the guests, start and then adjust as you go. And before I became a journalist once upon a time, I was interviewing for a job for a specific PR firm. And this PR firm was a branch of a family office that owned a specific franchise of a restaurant in Saudi. And now they're regional, obviously, but huge. And I was speaking to the CEO, and he told me one thing that he admires about certain business people around the world that we haven't yet implemented here in Saudi yet. He said, what they do is they start their business. They start from scratch and they adjust as they go. Our problem is we're perfectionists. We want everything to be perfect before we begin, which is what's holding us back. I can speak for myself. I'm a perfectionist. It took me so long. I told you discussions was 2021. That was when the vision started, right? But you're holding yourself back. So start somewhere and adjust as you go. This was what I would say.
It was Alex Hormozy who said, get your reps in. He said, I will never compete with someone that's done it 100 times. Ever. And you getting your reps in and doing something 100 times puts you in that top 1 percentile. Get your reps in, fine tune, tweak as you go along. As you go on your way, you'll realize what's working and what's not, and you'll be perfecting your craft. And all of a sudden, you're going to look like a genius. You didn't. You just find 100 ways of what works and 100 ways of, what didn't work. Waiting for the perfect time is the worst thing you could do.
You're shooting yourself in the leg, essentially.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But maybe if we can elaborate a little bit more, I would say, look at what you want to address in your podcast. Is there a major theme? And I think the worst thing you can do is make it a one subject podcast. I love cars. It's not my hobby, but a big area of interest up until the age of 42. I could have easily started a podcast. I'm 42. Yeah.
42?
I died of shit.
I didn't know. Mashallah, you don't look 42. I thought you were in your 30s.
It's great moisturizer. But
Really? It's Jeddah. It's Jeddah weather.
Probably, yeah.
I thought you were in your 30s.
42, 1983.
I'm sorry. So you started Mosho when? What age?
38. 37.
38. Wow.
Yeah.
That's inspiring. Okay.
Yeah.
I cut you off. Go
Someone
ahead.
told me that Steve Jobs started Apple at 48 and the Walmart guy started it. And so starting the podcast at 37, isn't that crazy?
60s, I think, because when you said 42, I was like, who is he talking about right now? Okay, go ahead.
I love that you asked me how.
I'm so sorry, because who is 42? Who's he talking about? I thought you were in their 30s. Continue, I cut you off. Sorry.
I forgot where I was.
You were talking about race. Don't stick to a specific theme of a subject.
Yeah. So I could have easily started a podcast on cars. The way Jay Leno could have done the same. Yeah. He's a major petrol head, but he started the Tonight Show. Watch this space. So I wanted to. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I saw, and I've been very open about this. I saw what Rogan did, and I was like, this seat is not occupied in our region. And what Joe's really good at is that he knows a little bit about a lot. And that's where I wanted to be. I'm not an expert in anything, and I will never claim to be. But what I want to be good at is to know a little bit about a lot of subjects whereby I can speak to anyone about anything. And that's maybe the best compliment I hang my hat on today is when someone says, Mo, the diversity in your guests. I mean, goddamn. Sorry, excuse my French. But that Mo, you can speak to anyone about anything. Talk to me about that before you talk to me about my views or comments or virality or this. No, the diversity in guests. And that's really, what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to be, okay, it is a podcast about everything. When people ask me what's it about, I say Saudi and life. We don't have a specific theme. Why are you pigeonholing me?
Sorry.
And if it worked for Rogan, yeah, I copied him in that. I wanted that model for our region.
Yeah.
I thought we needed it. Soft power was the goal.
And it was. That's what I really admire. We talked about this, you're not pushing an agenda. You're actually showing what's happening in Saudi.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So it works.
We've got a lot of people commenting on Ruth's episode that airs tonight.
Mm.
You got the president and chief investment officer at Google.
That's huge.
In my mind, I'm like, yeah, 170 episodes did. Not to think that episode 1 starting with my best friend and just building blocks from that and then getting the attention of Prince Abdulaziz and Princess Rima that could have gone on any platform that they chose to empower. I think you make your own luck in this world.
Mm. And persistence as well. This is what you said. It was the 170th episode. You said it wasn't the first or second episode. It's persistence.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. And if you don't get the viewers overnight, to keep going. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you all that consistency eventually is the current that will propel you forward. It's not about how good you are today. It's the building blocks that you built from yesteryear. That's what got me in a room with the second or third most powerful person at Google.
Yeah.
Which is, alhamdulillah.
It's not something small.
No.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk about networking. In your experience, I've seen you network in public. He's a serial networker. That's what I'll call
Really?
you. No, you're good. And it's important to network. It's so important. So, in your experience, why is networking so critical to success in media and podcasting as a whole?
First of all, I'm a conversationalist. And if I was an extrovert being 10 and an introvert being 0 at the age of 42, which I promise you I am, I think I'm around 7 now. So between extro and ambivert, which is in the middle, I've dropped a few points. I don't know why. I think I've been enjoying more time alone these days. So conversations and speaking to people still comes naturally to me. So it might look like I'm networking, but I'm just enjoying the conversation. I think it's very important to strike up conversations and engage, because until you do, someone once said, if you don't like someone, it's probably because you don't know them well enough. Deep down, we're all, for the most part, we're all nice people. And listen, I've judged a lot of people in my life. And I'd be, saying, oh, I don't like, the way that person, did this or. And then a friend of mine was like, can I just introduce you to him? I promise you a conversation with him will change your mind. Okay. And the conversation happened, and I'm like, that's the nicest guy, I've ever met. So if you don't know someone, if you don't like someone, you probably don't know them well enough. So having conversations with people allows them to get to know you. You sharing your ideas and stories and best practices with them. And before you know it, nothing is more fulfilling than knowing people from different cultures, knowing people from different cities in Saudi Arabia. There's a reason why the old saying is your network is your net worth.
True.
Because money comes and goes, but the people who if you treat them well, and you've been honest with them, you didn't screw them over, that will pay off, many times over than anything else you do. Relationships, interpersonal skills. It's very underrated. The long game. If you, try to pull off a sneaky move or a dodgy move with someone for the betterment of today, then you burnt that bridge tomorrow. And if, for example, I see this a lot in the business world. People tell me that, oh, when I was at that job, my phone was ringing off the hook, and now I left it, my phone's not ringing. So were you just building relationships and building friendships for someone, for the position they hold? Because that's very insincere. And when they're no longer at that position, that person can't do anything for me. So maybe I, don't spend my time. Just so be honest and be sincere in your relationships would be my advice. And everything else takes care of itself.
That's true. I like that. And I always say networking for me is just making friends, as cliche as it sounds. It's so cliche, but it's just making
It
friends.
could be that simple.
Yeah, it is that simple. For me, it's that simple. And then if I can help a friend in a way, I will. And then if they see an opportunity and they can support me, they do. And that's what it is. It's like, I think just talk to each other. I think this is something we don't do enough. Sometimes you're at a forum or you feel uncomfortable, or you feel if you're not used to it, just talk to each other.
Yeah.
If you just break that bridge and just speak to each other, you wouldn't even
Literally.
believe what happens in the future.
You make the best impression when you're not trying to make a good impression.
Yeah.
Many times do I try and I fall flat on my face. And sometimes I just don't think twice, and I go to an event and I was like, wow, this is quite bubbly. No, it's not bubbly, Mo. You just didn't overthink it. You know, you came in here with no agenda, and it happened yesterday at DevGo. You know, I was quite tired at around 5-6 o'clock when I went. So and I've done a lot of these now. So I'm not thinking, okay, you know, what do I do? Who do I speak to? I just went in there. And at one point, this might add a bit of gravitas to what you said earlier about me loving networking. I was talking and there were 6 or 7 people around me, and I'm like, where did these people come from? You know, and they're all like listening. But, you know, be yourself and don't overthink. And I think that can be applied to all walks of your life.
That's true.
Overthinking in anything, starting a podcast, you know, choosing a guest, what I should wear today. Overthinking can really make you miserable, and it's very time consuming more than anything else. Thank God we have white tops in Jeddah. It's never cold enough to wear the dark ones, so it's just one less decision.
You said one choice in Jeddah.
Yeah, just one, which is common with a lot of the CEOs and the Fortune 500 companies. Men, all their shirts for the top CEOs in the US
are the same color. Yeah, the same
white
color.
shirts.
Or just black. I've seen black as well. Yeah, that's the same.
One less decision to make.
It's one less decision to make. On the topic of overthinking, I think if you convince yourself something's going to happen, it's going to happen. I just have this mentality. If you convince yourself that the store in front of us is going to be locked, most likely it's going to be locked.
It's energy put out there.
It's energy. So you're putting out that messaging, that energy about it. And also, if your brain created that dream, what's to say you can't do it? It wouldn't have created it if it's not possible. Do you get what I'm saying? So don't overthink, just do it. I think that's the best option. Is it my turn or your turn? I forgot.
Your turn.
It's my turn, right? Okay.
Yeah. Any chance for me to plug Naval in any episode? He said, the world reflects your true feelings back at you.
Oh. Who's Naval?
He's
he's a philosopher.
Yeah, he's that. He's a philosopher. He's an investor. He's a futurist. His episode on the Joe Rogan podcast was the reason why I started my podcast.
What did he say? And what inspired you, I guess, about him?
What he inspired me about the podcast is human beings shouldn't work 9 to 5. The end of the Industrial Revolution will be the beginning of the Information Revolution. Own a piece of a business, and all those things I didn't have. And he was saying it on a podcast. And I was looking at Rogan, and I was looking at Naval, and I was looking at Rogan. I was like, okay,
this is it.
This is it. That was the aha moment.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah. I'm going to send you this episode.
Send it to me. I need to watch it.
I've watched it maybe 20 times.
Really?
Yeah, it really spoke to me more than anything has ever spoken to me in my life.
I need to watch it.
It was at that moment where I said, I'm going to do a podcast.
What year was this?
2019.
Well, send it to me. I'll watch it. Mo, what's one thing you wish you knew about your podcasting journey before you began?
That consistency will be the answer to 90% of my problems. I think consistency is the eighth wonder in the world, despite Albert Einstein saying that compound interest is the eighth wonder in the world. Although there are similarities, compound interest means that the more you put in, eventually the percentage of that pie becomes bigger by virtue of the pie growing due to you putting more into it. So 10% of 100 will be bigger when 10% becomes 200 and 300 and 400. So that's compound interest. Being consistent has allowed me to do this full time. It's a funny way to look at it, but by virtue of continuing to do the thing will allow you to keep doing the thing. So it's a funny paradox. So there's that, and I would say the second thing that I wish I knew was the importance of choosing the right guests. One guest can change the trajectory of everything. So being vigilant in the content you put out there and not mailing in any episodes for the sake of getting your reps in. quality. Get the quality content out there. Is another bit of advice that I wish I knew.
That's valid. I think mine is also consistency, but also putting yourself out there. I'm the type that, even with my network, I always do things for others, but I never ask for anything. And even if, like you said, if you have a cool idea or something that you think would work, you just need to go out of your way and you ask for it. Like, pitch the idea. You never know what's going to happen. And this is our thing. Even our partnership with Princess Nora, with Mishted. It was me getting out of my own way and just saying, just talk to her. Just talk to her about this partnership. And it ended up happening. And that's how we made discussions, actually happen. Our first 2-3 episodes were in a white studio that looked like it just looked terrible. It was in like a hospital, quite literally a hospital, like a mental hospital. That was the vibe, okay? and we were paying a lot of money for it. And I thought, what if we just approached an area that I like, a space that we like, and strike up a partnership? And that's quite literally what we did. So just get out of your own way. And it goes back to, don't convince yourself, don't overthink that something's not going to happen. Just get out of your own way. I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it's your turn.
What's your star sign?
My star sign? Leo.
I was just trying to see if there's any similarities, because I cringe to ask for things.
So do I.
We've never knocked on a door and say, please sponsor us.
I haven't either. It's an uncomfortable conversation. I don't know why, because I've seen people that have gone out of their own way to like ask for things and they get it. They get it every time. Sure, they're successful and they're happy and they're doing well just because they ask for things.
Should we?
I don't know. Is it a cultural thing that we feel uncomfortable asking for things? I feel like it is. And I feel like it's a cultural thing that we don't want to like...
I hope it's not pride.
Overstep. I don't think it's pride. I think it's like overstepping. I don't know what it is, actually.
I cannot ask for anything. Just like I can't show up at someone's house without taking anything, cookies, cake.
You have to.
Yeah, I just cannot say, can I have? I get so embarrassed. The 5-year-old boy inside of me will not allow me to do that.
In the same way. We just need to get out of our own ways.
Yeah.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
Coming up on this year, 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your process for editing an episode and deciding which segments are the most impactful to post?
Yeah, so I micromanage. I will say that, and that's what takes.
Join the club.
Join the club. Mo is like, I'm the president, so I'm a new member.
I do. I own it.
I joined this year, but no, I do micromanage, and that's what takes so long for us to get these episodes out. And we have 4 episodes in backlog right now, just because I can't let myself let the editor do his job. I can't. So I watch the episode like twice over. Then I go in and I select the clips and I give them the timestamps. But now there's AI softwares, and that's what we're going to try to use next. Because a friend of mine uses an AI software. You just tell it the themes that you want, the kind of the visuals and the timestamps of the clips, and it gives you clips.
Some good ones out there now.
Right. There's a lot coming out. I'm going to try one. We'll see.
I'm too intimidated.
You're too intimidated?
Yeah, I think I need to be a bit more progressive with using whatever tools are available to us.
Honestly, yeah.
I think that's a weakness of mine.
Just try it. Just try it for an episode. And honestly, your fan base, if they're loyal, they'll be happy about it because you can get out episodes faster. You can get episodes out to them much faster.
Or you can start focusing on other things.
Quite literally. And even focus on the quality of the content even more because it's not consuming your time for post-production process. That's what I do. I wouldn't recommend that way. I would recommend finding a good editor that kind of knows the themes, the language, what you want to accomplish with the videos, and trust them. Trust them. Obviously, watch the video before publishing at least once, twice, 3 times, just to make sure, is it following like all the laws that need to be followed? Is it crossing any red lines? Are you are you targeting, attacking anyone? I would say that. And even the language that you're using, is it consistent with the themes, the thematics of what you want to do? That's what I would recommend. But it takes a long time to actually find that tune of things. Like when we first started discussions, the first episode, I can tell you now, it was so bad. It's never seen the light of day, and it will never see the light of day. It is hidden in a flash drive somewhere. It is so mortifying. It was just bad. Even the editing was bad. Everything was bad. I was working with a different producer. I was working with a different editor. It just wasn't good. It just takes time. It takes time.
Yeah, but by doing that, you put yourself in the 1 percentile of people.
By hiding the video, or
no, by actually shooting it.
Exactly.
Imagine how many people thought about doing it and never did. Imagine how many people thought about it and chose not to, and imagine how many people never did. So you put yourself in a group that I see to be the 1%, and embarrassment is the cost of entry.
Ooh, I like that. I heard that before.
Epic.
I like that. It's so true.
I have to
It's so
credit
true.
Stephen Bartlett for that. It's so true. Your
So
first version is going to be beep.
Yeah, it's gonna,
And
not you beeping yourself. It's
and
crazy.
with
Save me editing time.
trying to help you with that.
So good.
Yeah, for sure. And it goes back to choosing the right guests and just how I said earlier that choosing the right clips and the right moments to help market the episode is everything. The last couple of episodes we put out there, we took our trailer game to a whole new level. And we want to start focusing on that a lot more. We noticed that on these last two episodes, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf and Mo Gaudat, on YouTube, the platform went diabolical. Everything went 9x. And I can't help but think it was because of the trailer. So, we're competing for attention end of the day, right?
Good, good.
We are, and one better way to grab attention than the power of hooking, and that's how the market is, and that's something that we're doubling down on.
What are you doing differently with the trailers now that you weren't doing before?
I mean, we used to do it in-house, and it was literally just words and a melody.
Yeah.
Now we've got animations and bombs blowing and graphs and Stephen Bartlett style.
I've seen it. It looks really good.
Yeah.
It's clean.
We found a guy out of Egypt, and we showed him Mo Gaudat's episode on Stephen, which was, I think, Stephen's #1 most watched episode, 15 or 16 million views. And we said, here's the content, here's the trailer-worthy moments in 4K. Can you do something to this degree? And I think he did something within 90% of Stephen's episode.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's clean. I've seen it. It looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, next question. Okay.
I think it's my turn. Oh, no, it's your turn.
Did I steal your question?
No, sorry, your turn.
I don't know.
I tend to do that.
Okay. Which social media platforms are most essential for growing and promoting your podcast?
Many would say TikTok. I think Instagram.
Really?
Yeah. I think if you're not on Instagram, I mean, if I had to be on one outside of TikTok, outside of YouTube, of course, because that's where the full version is, it would be Instagram, and it wouldn't even be something that I would think twice about. LinkedIn is great. For example, the Google episode is a LinkedIn episode. But most of our episodes are Instagram episodes, meaning that the highest engagement we'll see would be on that. TikTok is good when I want local engagement. They will have a field day. It's the Wild West. I'll spare you from what happens.
No, I can imagine the comments.
Instagram, Twitter does well with government and ministry related topics. So there are campfires for each group of people, but my favorite is without a doubt Instagram.
Yeah. Reels.
Yeah. I think because it's everyone. It's everyone. It's the West. It's us. It's the East. It's everyone in one big melting pot. And we had a clip of Mo Gaudat a month ago where he was talking about how he's very much looking forward to death, and how God is the kindest ever, and he is looking forward to the day where he gets to meet him, and it caused a lot of our Western audience to say, I've never heard anyone talk about death that way. Isn't it all about life? And here Mo Gaudat was saying, you aren't playing at an all-star level if you want to win this game. This game is about winning the next one. It had a lot of people scratching their heads, especially those who haven't found their purpose on earth. Talking about the American and the British audience, saying, oh wow, we've never heard anyone talking about the afterlife like that. And it comes back to spirituality, and he was one of the most spiritual characters I've ever met. And it went viral to the tune of 3 million views. And that's Instagram, and that allows that clip alone pulled in a ridiculous amount of followers for my personal, for the show's Instagram handle, to the tune of 15% increase in engagement, in followers, just that clip. So the power of choosing the right clip, and it sent so much traffic to the episode. 1.1 million views in a month. We've never seen that before.
I want to ask you. So I agree with you. I think Instagram Reels is very powerful, especially to get that crossover to YouTube and get those followers. Instagram is great, but I haven't seen a translation from from TikTok to YouTube. We get a lot of viewers, which is amazing. But every now and then I see this ad pop up of, do you want to promote your video? What do you think of that? Have you ever utilized that? And is it beneficial to utilize it?
Yeah, I've used it. We think it's beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
It can add 4 or 5x the eyeballs. But you're right about TikTok. There is no call to action. Like on stories, you can hyperlink it to the episode. Why can't I do that on TikTok? Or can I, and I haven't figured out how to?
No, you can add it to your story, but even the clickable link, it doesn't take you to the website.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It doesn't. It doesn't. This is the issue. So I think, yeah, I agree with you. Instagram Reels is much, much better on that front.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok has its own virality, but you're right, it doesn't convert to traffic.
So,
And it's all about, and all these apps are a tool or a microcosm of sending traffic to the main event, which is YouTube.
true. It's your question. Let's let it back over to you.
All right. With so many podcasts available today,
Yep.
it's true. What's the best way to make your content stand out?
Okay, so I talked about this before. We had a media trip for one of the major tech companies when we were speaking about AI and media. AI can create a very quick podcast. It can create informative podcast. It can create a podcast that it resonates with people. But at the end of the day, I don't think people are buying the podcast. I think they're buying you. I've always said branding is everything. And they're buying you as a product. They're coming back to watch the Mo Show. They're coming back to watch Lima with discussions. They're coming back because you bring the content in a way that's easier to consume. You're familiar to them. They're used to you. So they trust you. I firmly believe that in order to stand out with the grouping of podcasts that's happening globally now, it's originality, it's consistency, and it's you yourself as a brand to the audience. That's my answer.
I mean, I would just add one thing, which is very similarly related to originality, which is authenticity.
Okay.
I mean, that's it. Be yourself.
Okay.
No one will be better at being you than you, and I think that's paramount.
I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
You can feel it now.
Okay. How do you approach or identify high quality guests or who you want to have on your podcast?
If I'm a fan of their work,
Okay.
literally, if your content spoke to me, if I was touched by it, if I believe in your message, I will go to the ends of the world to shoot with you. Yeah.
Do people come to you or do you come to them most?
A lot, luckily, by virtue of existing for 6 years, we have a lot of people knocking on our doors wanting to come on the show, which tells me that if you persevere and if you get through, I saw on the subject of Instagram, I saw a reel that said the only way out is through, and it was a plane taking off, going through a storm, and I think the first 0 to 4 years was that storm, and eventually the plane, alhamdulillah, reached the blue skies, and our blue skies moment now is it's easier to get yeses when we reach out. And we get, a lot of people doing our business development for us, which is, them suggesting themselves or their team suggesting their clients for the show, which is a very fortunate position to be in. People wanting to put their name on your platform, it's an honor.
I like that.
Yeah,
I agree. For us, it's the same thing. If I feel like their message resonates and it'll resonate with our audiences, and also them as a person, I feel if they want to educate the public about what they're doing and not gatekeep, then I can bring them on the podcast. And also, at times, yes, follower base does have something to do with it, but most of the time, it's that person and their value.
Yeah, it's so not the not
the driving point.
Yeah.
It's not
I'll have someone who's in on Instagram, which is more than I can say for some other platforms.
I've had that as well. I've had people, I'm like, oh, let me tag you. They're like, oh, I don't do social
Yeah.
media. I'm like, oh, that's different.
Actually, you know what? honestly, I get excited about having someone on that many people don't know exists.
Really?
Because I'm kind of, not sound egotistical, but we're kind of curtain raising. This is this person who you've never heard of. Small accounts, big accounts, we do not discriminate.
I like that. I think I know this answer already.
Okay.
Not you saying things. I think I know this already. Who is your most high-profile guest so far, and how did you manage to book them?
It's either Prince Abdulaziz or Princess Rima, to be honest. Prince Abdulaziz's team reached out after Hussein Ali Rida, his episode, Saudi Roar. I think they liked it, and Nassim reached out and asked if I would be interested to get Prince Abdulaziz on. So I told him I'll check my schedule.
So fancy, excuse me.
I remember I said, this is one of the greatest days of my life, and I would be beyond honored, happy to shoot in your offices, wherever. And they said, no, we'll shoot in the studio. And God bless him, 2 weeks later, he came to the house. And I greeted him at the door, and I said, I'm so embarrassed that you came to me. I really insisted with your team that I come to you. He's like, is this your house, Mohammed? I said, yes. He's like, I'll come to you once, twice, and 10 times.
Wow.
His words. And we shot an episode. Me, him, he had a few people from his team, weren't even in the room. Took off his shemagh, and he's like, listen, they gave me this iPad, but let's just have a conversation. And I was so tense. I was like, about what? He was like, the podcast. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. It's not every day that you have a minister show up to your studio. And he put me on the map, because I think getting him under our proverbial belt allowed that content to reach Princess Rima when I messaged her. And she, I think, saw that, okay, he's done well for him. And these people could have gone on anything, on any platform. But I messaged her on Instagram, and as I've said a few times, she responded in a matter of hours. And then the next day, somebody from DC called me, and a couple months later, we shot in the museum in Riyadh.
That's amazing.
The National Museum. And she is everything you hear about her being and more. I remember when she came, our only sponsor at the time, Caffeine Lab, gave us some coffee beans and like a few mugs. And they said, can you please give it to Princess Rima? I said, sure. So before we started, I said, there's this bag from our coffee sponsors, Caffeine Lab. And they'd like me to give it to you. And she was like, that is so nice of them. And then she told her assistant, can you please get their number from Mohammed and make sure we called them at the end of the episode. And I think she called the guy to thank him personally.
It's amazing. Oh, that's so thoughtful.
True story. Just relaying what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But how far long ago was that in your journey? I mean, when you first started until Prince Abdulaziz's episode? 2 years in.
Yeah, it was 22. And Princess Rima was 23.
Kind of far off.
Yeah, no, not far off.
Amazing.
And at the end of the episode with her, she was like, so where are you off to now? I said, Jeddah. My wife is giving birth to our twins in a few days. She was like, and you left her? And I said, she encouraged it because it's you.
Because it's huge. It's a big
because it's huge, and because it's you, and she knew this is like a moment and a half for me and the podcast and the message that many people will hear through it.
Yeah.
And 4 months ago, when Trump came, she was sitting in front of me, and she sat down, she stood up, she looked back, and she said, Mohammed, how are the twins? And that was a 2.5-year-old memory. Can you imagine how many people she has met since? Can you imagine how many stories she's come across since? But she remembered that detail from 2.5 years ago. So when people say Princess Rima is amazing, I have proof to double down on that.
Yeah. I think we can all agree about that. I like that. Is it my turn or your turn?
I could actually about to tear.
Why? No, but she's an amazing human being. It's the family as a whole. We talked about this. The whole family is inspiring. Well, they're a brilliant family, inshallah.
Well, even her brother, the ambassador to the UK.
Yeah.
I haven't met him, but I hear such good things about him.
We've written about him a lot as well. It's just a good family.
Yeah, just a good family. Seriously. And look at their positions today. Ambassador to the US, ambassador to the UK, and Prince Faisal, who we had on, head of esports, just so down to earth. You know, I honestly feel that these people, they forget about who they are and their titles. They're human first.
Yeah. But that's how it should be. Well, we're not our jobs, we're not our titles, we're not our families, we're just we're people. Well, I firmly believe we're all people, at the end of the day.
Zero ego.
And it goes back to like picking the right guests, like approaching people.
Yes.
They're just people.
Yeah.
They're just people.
Ego is the enemy. The more I have
That's a
gone
good
through
book.
life,
Have you read the
excellent
book?
book, love
Such a
it.
good book.
The more I go through life, the more I realize that's the case. If somebody did something that bothered me in an event or this, like, Muhammad, are you going to give him a piece of your mind? Like, that's ego. That's ego talking. Ego is the enemy.
Even driving in Riyadh, I would say ego's the enemy. Be
Even
careful
driving
with
in
that.
Riyadh, honestly,
Just let them merge. Let them go.
Wallahi, lama, yani,
You
the
can't have an
biggest-
ego in the roads here. You cannot.
you can't. And I want
not safe.
every minute, every hour, every however many hours that translated into being days of me having road rage. Because I want that time back, because it was just
It
unnecessary
wasn't
stress.
worth it. It wasn't worth it. And
And then what?
don't you laugh at me. I've gotten better. I've gotten better. Okay. Now I just say Allah Hadi. Allah Hadi. I let him pass.
Get points. I think you get brownie points.
Thank you. I get points.
Yeah.
Before I would, that horn is exhausted. It's
Yeah.
retirement now, but
Yeah.
I would just say let him pass.
Yeah.
I've gotten better. Well, I've gotten better.
Horns and
He's Yoda though. No one's like him, Yanni. Continue.
rising above. Being less reactive is something I try to be as I've gone through life. React less. Be the last to talk.
So,
And don't over talk. I have this tendency of over talking. Not when I'm interviewing.
no, you're not over talking now, but it's a good piece of advice. My mother always says that. She said just say less in general and then be selective with what you say. It's more powerful. It's more powerful.
Yeah, for sure. It comes with experience. Where do you see the future of podcasting heading, specifically with the rise of AI tech? I'm worried that we're going to get replaced.
No, we already are being replaced, but
Oh, great.
not to that extent. I think it's the same thing I said before, because even the news outlet I work for now, we have an AI podcast, a fully AI podcast,
Really?
fully AI podcast, and it's just live. It's happening live. The AI are interacting with each other. We're already seeing it. I mean, in Melbourne, I think it was Melbourne or Sydney, Melbourne, I think. They had a radio morning show that was fully AI for a year. No one knew. No one knew.
No way.
Exactly. It's already happening.
Crazy.
But I think it goes back to what you said, authenticity, and what I said, originality. It's a combination of those two. No matter where we go in the future, people want people. I think they want content. They want authenticity from that person that they can trust, that they can connect to, that they can speak to in person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that human-to-human connection will never go away.
No.
That's my insights. What do you think?
What if you have two humans, two AIs talking to each other, and the congregation or audience are enjoying it? That kind of replaced us in some capacity.
You mean like an AI and human
Speaking to an AI.
collaboration?
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
On a podcast.
We actually were going to
We're
do that.
competing with
We were going to interview an AI. There's an AI influencer that does like live streams and metaverse streams, like fully AI.
Yeah.
We were going to do an AI interview, but we just couldn't figure out like how we would navigate it. But it's an interesting topic, I think. And we need to find that bridge in the future, I think. We haven't reached that full, what is the word? That's the battle for AI race. What are they doing now? To have the fully, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Illa. It's to have like the fully AI. Illa, super intelligence. Okay. The race towards super intelligence. Right now they're racing towards it to have a fully like autonomous, super intelligent AI. I think we're going to get there eventually, fairly soon. Quite literally. With emotions, with the decision making, fully operational, fully autonomous. We're getting there soon. So I think we need to find that middle ground between the two. But I think maybe this is like way too extreme. Coexistence needs to be something that's talked about in the future.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but I think it's something we should talk about in the future. But authenticity and originality is always going to remain, in my opinion.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I just see this as too much of a business proposition where you have a podcast where you're not dealing with humans. They're not taking a salary. You're not dealing with egos, yet it's something that is marketable.
What about AI rights in the future? I actually see that happening.
Rights?
Like work rights, human rights for them. Not human rights, but AI rights, artificial intelligence rights, what they can and can't work.
Policies of that.
If they're fully autonomous and they're super intelligent,
They could work 24/7.
they could. But what if they demand the rights and pay wage? And I don't know.
It's a whole new strategy.
Inshallah, this doesn't happen. I had a conversation with someone about this, and he was convinced. He was like, "We're going to have super intelligence in the next 5 years. This is something we need to address." And I was like, "It's not going to happen. It's not. I don't know. We never know. SubhanAllah, what's going to happen. I just keep at it. Be open to new things. Be open to change and adjust as you go. I think this would be the best approach for the future of podcasting."
Yeah. I mean, all you can take care of is the right now.
Yeah. So.
Letting go of things you can't control is something we need to be cognizant of.
True, and we can't predict everything. I think I have the mark. I'm gonna hurry up. I promise. You gave me the 5-minute mark. Like, hurry
Yeah,
up.
let's make some impact.
That's funny. I like that. Cheesy. Look at that. Nice.
I was
little
waiting for it. I should have started with
branding.
that. You're like, I heard that one before.
What's going on here? Okay. Okay, we talked about this. Is it truly possible to make a full-time living from podcasting?
Yeah. I mean, I was fortunate enough to take the leap in August 2023. I got a call from the Ministry of Media to go to Delhi for the G20, part of the media delegation for the Crown Prince. That was a mouthful. And it was at that moment, and it might have been brewing for 6 months, but I said, if my country see me for doing this and to the degree where they want to take me to Delhi for, media delegation, then it's about time I put 2 feet into this venture and stop, thinking that I can make both work. One of them is not going to be amazing. So since I got the recognition, let's make this amazing. So I took the leap in August 23, and it became full-time since then. I gave it my undivided attention, and we have some incredible brands that supported us. And I don't take 1 second, 1 hour, 1 day lightly or for granted that I do what I love full-time for a living, that I really, really enjoy doing, and to show my country off in the light that it deserves. I remember like a week ago, I literally prayed, but I prayed to thank, not prayed to ask. I was like, with podcasting and everything that I have career-wise, thank you, God, for giving me what I prayed for 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just thanking you for making that dream a reality.
That's brilliant. But I want to ask you, for your main source of income, let's say a regular job would be a salary. For Moshow, is it through sponsorships? Is it through partnerships? What does that mean like?
It's sponsorships and speaking opportunities, so emceeing and moderating panels.
Which is a full-time by itself, by the way.
Well,
the opportunities in Saudi.
Yeah.
I know friends that do it full-time, and I do it part-time, but I know people that do it full-time.
Yeah.
That is with opportunities.
Now, to be honest, most of those opportunities are in Riyadh, which is why every 3 months I tell my wife, we have to move, because this is ground zero for those opportunities. And if it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't be getting these opportunities. And they've been coming a lot, and I'm so thankful for. So yeah, sponsorships of the podcast, which has been a bit challenging, to be honest. Marketing strategies shift from time to time, but what has been more constant, I'm fortunate to say, is the opportunities that I've been getting to MC and moderate. You see the events in Saudi, it's like, these events are competing for the days of the year. You can be good, you can be consistent, but I think you need a bit of luck as well. If it wasn't for the country opening up and needing English in some capacity, then I don't think the podcast would have been in the high demand that it is right now. More people tuning in because more people are curious about Saudi Arabia. A lot of people wanting jobs here, wanting accounts here, wanting to, call certain entities clients here.
Yep.
It wasn't the case pre-2017.
Yeah, even the last 2 years, I've seen it skyrocket as well. Just the last 2 years for people moving here. I think it's your question. Pass that over to you.
What are the most effective strategies for monetizing a podcast in today's market?
That's your question, no.
Monetizing a podcast strategy.
No, we just got started, so I think it's a question for you.
Yeah, it's simple. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. It's choosing the right guests, and from that guests, ensuring that the episode is marketed as well as it can be. And even the conversation itself, make sure there's no fluff. Keep it as real as can be. Be consistent with publishing. Choose engaging thumbnails. Choose your YouTube titles in a way that speaks to people as well. Make sure you do your show notes. Make sure you give credits where credits is due, and take advantage of Instagram, of LinkedIn, of Snapchat, of X, of TikTok, and have them funnel these micro segments into the full episode.
It's Princess Nora. She's so cute. Okay.
Make sure that these micro segments are making the rounds, because they will lead to people coming to watch the full feature on YouTube. So just fall in love with the craft, and everything will take care of itself. Don't think about sponsorship. Like, I remember my first sponsor came 2 years in, and I think that was early. But it wasn't something I was thinking about when I started off. So focusing on the craft, and really everything takes care of itself. You have to be obsessed. And it was tough for me, because wife and 3 children, juggling that corporate podcast, corporate saying you don't have time for us, family saying you don't have time for us, and me really believing that the podcast is the thing. It was a very tough 3 years. But if you get through the clouds, the only way out is through. Everything takes care of itself. The person that beats you is the one who is obsessed. So make sure you are loving the craft, obsessed, and make work feel like play to the best of your abilities.
It's brilliant advice.
There's your trailer.
That literally, I was just going to say that, Abdurrahman, you have to be obsessed. Because he always asks me, he's like, what are the key words of the episode? What are the catchy?
Be obsessed. If you're not obsessed, then you're not doing the thing. Then this is not for you. Like something else could be. But just find out what, and I think that honestly, God has given us something that we're all amazing at. I really believe this. And it's just up to us if we are going to find that amazing in our lifetime.
I always say that. I say you're born with a talent and a gift. You just have to figure out what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wallah.
I like that. Okay. How do you maintain consistency and avoid... But this is the last question. We can still keep talking.
Go for it.
How do you maintain consistency and avoid burnout long term?
I think if you burn out, then burnout, this is going to sound a bit too, I don't know, whatever. I don't care how this is.
Just say it, yeah.
If you're worried about burnout, then you're not passionate about what you're doing. It never crossed my mind burning out. I mean, when I'm on the road away from my family, I'm working on the podcast in some capacity whenever I have a minute. I have never said enough working on it for today, whether it's preparing flows, whether it's researching guests, whether it's reviewing episodes, whether it's publishing. I can do this, inshallah, up until the last years of my life because I love it. And if you love something, it's like, does Ronaldo worry about burning out from football? Never crossed his mind. I don't worry about potentially ever burning out because I love what I do. It's my happy place. Now, maybe I'm obsessed and that's why I have those sensations. So this is probably not the answer you were looking for.
There's no right or wrong answer.
But I do believe that burnout is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if we love what you do, I don't think that should concern you.
Interesting. Okay, I agree to some extent. I've never been burnt out.
Push back.
No, but I've never been burnt out by discussions. I agree with you. The podcast, I can't count a day. Even the editing process, even dealing with media licensing, even dealing with all the taxes and zakat, I've never been burnt out by that, even though it's something that stresses me out. I've been burnt out by 9 to 5.
There you go.
By my full-time job. Even though I love it and it's my passion, that has burned me out. Discussions has never burned me out. And I've worked on these episodes till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. at times. Never been burned out.
Is it because no one's telling you where to be at what time and what to do?
I think it is. Yeah. We were talking about this. I got a job offer. I shouldn't say this, but I got a job offer for a 9 to 5 corporate job. And I was thinking of taking it. I don't know. I might not. But I have an issue with authority. I don't know why. Not an issue with authority, but I don't like the idea of someone saying, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you? I need someone to trust me that I'm going to do the job and I'm going to do it well. I don't like the idea of, where's this? Why didn't you do this? You need to be here. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's what most entrepreneurs are.
Yeah.
Regardless of if podcasting is fun, it's entertaining, it's media, but it's entrepreneurship at the end of the day. And you need to have a certain mindset to succeed in the sector as a whole.
Look, there are personalities that want to lead and that will resist being told what to do by authority. And we have those people. And conversely, there are people that are in jobs that are okay with being told what to do. And if it wasn't for both sides of the spectrum, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this. If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have that. But I'm also very mindful of, with my team, trust, work from home. You know what we got to do, and you know your deadline, and submit it. Like I cannot scold. I cannot say, why did you, I cannot flip. And trust, right? That
That's trust.
If you have a problem trusting your team, then you have the wrong team.
That's true. It's true. I need to reevaluate, look at yourself and what you're doing.
Yeah. Who was it that said, no such thing as bad employees, only bad managers?
It's true.
So
I don't know who said it, but it's true.
it's so true.
Mo just said it.
So yeah,
but it's true.
Trust. And I think that, burnout comes from if you are unable to take authority, or someone telling you what to do at what time, then you will feel the weight of the world on your shoulders.
And even someone not considering your time, what you're capable of doing at a certain amount of time, it takes over time. But like you said, if you're passionate about something and it's yours, I don't think we get burned out from our podcast because it's ours.
Yeah.
We created this concept from scratch.
Exactly.
And we're seeing it come to fruition. You're not going to get burned out from that. I don't personally, and I don't think you will. But who knows?
Absolutely. One last thing Nawaz said, and you just reminded me of, was easier said than done. And when I heard it the first time, I'm like, how am I going to do that? He said, if the perfect job doesn't exist, create it.
It's true. That is so true.
Wow. You created this from thin air.
Yeah.
It never existed before you.
Oh, that's so funny that you say that, Mo, because in 2021, I was thinking I'll make a podcast, but then I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing my job as a journalist. Someone will come and pick me up and say, let me give you a show. But why do I need to wait for that?
No one's coming to save you.
No one came.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? What am I doing? I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
25.
Well, do it yourself.
Yeah.
And start, and then you'll find that you'll attract the right people that'll help you grow it. I fully believe that.
Don't wait for the next thing like you did for discussions. 4 year.
It's not going to happen again.
Yeah. Bravo for doing it though. Good job taking the leap. Proud.
But you know what? It came at the right time. Allah subhanAllah, because I think at that age, I wouldn't have been prepared to take on all of this. Yeah. I believe it came at the right time. Yeah. My interview skills, my network, it came at the right time. I firmly believe that. Yeah. There's one last question we ask all of our guests on discussions because we want to make it educational. What advice would you give someone as a podcaster, as the host and founder of Mo Show? What advice would you give someone wanting to follow the footsteps of that career and become a podcaster?
Ask yourself what your message wants to be. What do you want to solve for? Look for gaps in the market. Don't, for goodness sake, don't copy. Do not copy. By the time you perfect the craft of copying someone, that someone has moved on to the next thing, and whatever you're doing has already been done. Escape competition through authenticity. Be authentic. Be authentic. There's a reason why I chose English in an Arabic-speaking country. I said, in a sea of blue hats, I put on a red. And I hate using the word I. The podcast put on a red hat in a sea of blue. Mm-hmm. And maybe that allowed us to get the attention of the people who we got on. Be authentic, know what your message is. And when you figure those two out, I beg you, dear son, dear daughter, be consistent. Be consistent. It's your meal ticket for life.
Brilliant. Those are all my questions. Mo, thank you for joining me on Discussions.
Really enjoyed it.
It was fun. We should do this again eventually.
Onwards and upwards for sure.
I'll let you get to Jeddah, but we'll have you back in Riyadh soon. I'm pretty sure you'll be back in Riyadh.
I want you in my studio for a full feature.
No, I'd love to. It'd be fun. Deal.
All right.
And cut.